Oh, big swinging log here from Law and Lumber. How you doing, buddy? He says rackets. Ian, that's Runkle of the Bailey. He's a Canadian gun lawyer, actually. Are you familiar with him?
Yes.
Okay. Why'd you smirk?
I did a little shit stirring when he was talking about the Alec Baldwin trial.
Oh yeah,
yeah. No, not the trial.
So?
The Alec Baldwin, not trial, of course. The situation.
The incident. Yeah,
yeah, because he kept being like, "There is no way that that you cannot tell the difference. There's no way." I brought out 5 people and showed them this is what the dummy looks like. All of them could tell the difference right away. And I was like, holy shit. The Canadian is in here experting on dummies. And I just started being a little passive aggressive. I was like, yeah, no, because all dummy rounds are made exactly the same way, right? Like, and also there's not film grade dummy rounds, right? Also, most dummy rounds aren't just regular old ammunition with dead primers and no powder, right? And he was fighting me hard.
A man after a vasectomy.
What?
Nothing. Never mind.
Nice.
No, but
he fought me really hard, and we had a little bit of a quarrel. But then I was like, "It's cool," and then it was cool.
Of course, because Ian Runkle's a really cool, nice guy.
Yeah, he is nice, but he was totally. I'm just gonna say it. He sounded like a real fucking idiot when he was talking about how you can always tell the difference. Oh, and like this is because everybody, all the commentators, and even kind of you, were out there saying like, "Oh, he should be. He's a murderer," blah blah blah. It's like this is the grayest, like sack of shit situation ever.
You want to call me out?
I said even kind of you.
I'm just wondering, Matt, if so
I get it. I want to jump down all of the celebroid lizard throats, every single one of them, and play around in there because I'm sure it's warm and squishy, or cold and squishy. It's that situation was one where the simple reaction should have been Alec Baldwin, the individual, is not criminally liable. Alec Baldwin, the producer, should be civilly liable, and that should have been the end of it.
I don't know. I'm not so sure he's not criminally liable.
Come on, man. Come on. Come on. Man.
Don't you Biden me.
Come on.
Pretty soon you'll be forgetting your sentences. See, because firing.
Let's do it real quick. So why criminally liable?
Okay, so reckless disregard for safety, right? He creates a situation. He points a gun at a person. He pulls a trigger. Gun goes off, goes through the person. You know that pointing a gun at someone's inherently dangerous. He didn't do a safety clear on it. He recklessly disregards the danger that he has created by pointing the gun that is loaded without inspection.
Okay. You have a good premise.
I know it's a good premise.
Now, let me ask you some questions.
Real quick. Yes, but I want to address something real quick. Contrarian 420 in the chat says negligence. No,
that's
criminal
thing, yeah.
Criminal negligence is reckless disregard.
Yeah,
it rises to the level of recklessness because negligence lacks the requisite intent to make it a criminal act. That would be a civil act, and he's definitely
civilly liable.
Yes,
100%. So 100% negligent, but criminal negligence is up here on the Sienter scale. The Sienter scale is where you go all the way from good boy to evil man. So do you want, if you're an armorer, right, a stage armorer that gets the weapon set up, gets it all done nice the way you're supposed to, and you hand it to the celebroid lizard ape idiot. and you've got it set up just right because in the last shot 3 shots were fired and all this, and it's the cylinders in the right spot, everything's, and the celebroid idiot goes, I have to do the safety clear, and then just starts pawing at it with his claws.
Yeah.
Has that done literally anything to make the situation safer?
No.
Exactly. So what is the safety clear? That's not gonna. It's nothing. It's not real.
I would say there's a lot of things that need to be done, even though they don't actually make the situation safer, in all sorts of criminal liability cases.
So when it's criminal,
Yeah.
right? The you have to have that scienter. So if you and we weren't there, so we don't know exactly how he like got the gun.
Right. We only can go off of what they've said.
Right. So let's assume, which is this is what I assume. I assume that the stage armor fucked up. That's what I assume. And I think that it's his fault for hiring somebody who was not qualified like that.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of mess around that too.
Right.
But yeah,
So I think
agree there.
Here's what I expect happened. I expect that the gun was put on the ready table in a
Wrong.
non-ready condition, and that he got it from the ready table.
He was handed it.
Yeah.
He was handed it by a producer, if I remember right.
Right.
Who was
Yeah.
handed it by the armorer.
So everyone in that situation had reason to believe that it was in the configuration that it should have been, right? I'm not going to say safe because it's never safe to point a firearm at even a camera, right? I don't like the fact that they use real guns, but they do. It's what they've been doing in industry forever.
You've got another problem. He wasn't supposed to pull the trigger in that shot.
Do we know that though?
Yes. Because they weren't actually filming. Like they weren't ready for the shot. This was a dry run through the thing. So he was supposed to, and his original statement was that the gun went off on its own, maybe a half-cocked hammer, which Brandon Herrera's thoroughly debunked.
Brandon Herrera's actually, he's so fucking wrong. He doesn't know the first thing about how the lockwork on those guns operate. Yeah.
If he need Brandon, you better show up, you bastard. It would
not be. And so the thing is, it's the wording he's using. That gun was very clapped out. There's a fairly substantial chance that it had been dropped several times on the hammer, it being a frequently used prop firearm, and the secondary sear been worn to nothing. It is entirely possible for that malfunction, for it going off, to have happened. That is not what happened. He very clearly pulled the trigger.
Yes.
But I was just saying, just the whole thing got me so pissed off because all these people were coming up saying, "No, I have the smoking gun. I have proven that this was criminal." You know,
I never, by the way, said that he was guilty. I said he should be charged.
I don't think so, man. I think there's just no scienter. I think he should be sued.
Did you? He was. They already settled it. Did you hear?
I actually didn't.
Oh yeah, no, he was settled. He settled. He gave the husband of the dead woman an executive producer role on his shitty movie.
And that's it?
That was the settlement.
No, I'm not saying he shouldn't rot in hell.
I don't know who represented the husband of the dead woman, but that seems like a pretty shit deal to me. Like, doesn't the company have liability insurance that should pay out several $1 million on this?
I mean, maybe it did. I don't know, man. That's fucked up. That's not cool. But anyway, call me a contrarian. I think that
I'll call you a contrarian.
Yeah, call me a cunt. I think that he was negligent and stupid. I think that the whole thing was a goat show. I don't think it amounts to criminal. Like, I don't think it amounts to wantonness or reckless disregard for safety. You know, and it's because you have to take into account some subjective characteristics here in the criminal context. And this is a monkey retard actor.
But that being retarded doesn't absolve you from liability or criminal liability.
It does change the analysis for the scienter prong, which is the most important part.
I don't know, man. Recklessness is a reasonable person standard
in the situation. So that would be the reasonable retarded actor, monkey, lizard, idiot.
Let's find all of Alec Baldwin's gun scenes from every movie and ask if he can actually be reasonably, like, we know he's retarded.
But here's the things that I think we can agree on. One, the average monkey actor cannot just hold a dummy round in their hand and know whether it's live or not, because there's a million different configurations that dummies could be. I mean, do you agree with that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. 2, them checking the gun is literally worse than nothing.
My thing is, my problem is, look, I know you don't agree with checking the gun, but I need to check a gun before I point it at something and pull a trigger.
Right. Well, you don't point like you're not an actor though.
But this is the big problem right here. Bam. Finger on the trigger.
Right.
What's he
So
doing?
here's
Why?
the thing,
Why is he
though.
like this? Why are you like this, Alec?
In that time, and I'm sure this movie wasn't good enough to even take this into consideration, but in the time period the movie was portraying, you always had your finger in the trigger whenever the gun was in your hand.
Right, and you pulled the hammer back with the
Yeah.
finger, and
Like,
then
and
the
you
hammer
do
would.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.